Hi guys, Hazel Bulubisi here. If you're new to this channel, here we navigate through life by talking about our life experiences, and sometimes we also have travel videos and product reviews here and there. So if that is what you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure to also click the bell button so as to be able to be notified when our videos are up, or rather my videos are up. So today I'm here and we'll be talking about expectations versus reality of medical school, which I think I was not prepared for as well. I mean, growing up, I've always said I wanted to be a doctor, but I don't think I knew how much work it took and how much effort you had to put in to actually just get through day by day. So, as you know, I'm a 5th-year med student currently. I study in Rome. And yeah, it was a big step that I took to actually choose to study medicine abroad. Let's start from there. Then second, I don't think I was ever prepared for it. Because you go in thinking, oh, uni is fun, uni is cool. You don't realize there's so much work you'll have to do. I mean, okay, I knew med students have a lot of work. I knew it won't be easy, but still, it's not... I guess what I thought it was isn't what it was. Like, I thought it was here and it was like over here. So, yeah. So the first point I'd say my expectation was to flourish academically. I mean, being in high school, being in primary, I was always above average. My grades were okay, they were good, they were not bad. Then you get to medical school and it teaches you, you're not so good after all. It was hard. It was a hard adjustment. It was hard to actually come to terms with it. It was hard to realize that you actually fail a lot. I remember in my first year, because I joined medical school 1 semester late, so I had to catch up with the exams. And I remember there was one exam, I did it like 5 times. 5. You can't even think there's a problem with me. Like, I was like, how do I keep on repeating an exam each and every time and it's not getting through, And I remember I was really down. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? It's like my second exam of med school and I'm struggling. I'm like, will I really be able to be a doctor? But anyway, eventually I passed that exam. And I guess it just came to show me that it's not as easy. And it's not even about, I always say med school is not about working hard. It's more of working smart. You have to know how to work things out, how much to study, and it's never enough. Like, your studying is never enough. You'll study, go to an exam, think, everything is okay. You reach here like, oh my gosh, no. It was a lot. But I think over the years I've learned failure is okay, because you'll fail here and there. It's just another stepping stone for you to get closer to your goals. So it shouldn't be something that should discourage you. 2, there'll always be someone better than you in medical school, and even just in life in general. So I don't think you should compare yourself to the person next to you who seems to be having it easier, but you never know, maybe what they're doing, you're doing different, So I think, that took me a while. It took me a while to realize, took me a while to accept, took me a while to know, hey, it's not the way you'd think in high school. You start studying for exams 2 weeks before. No, for medical school you have to start like 2 months before, if you're just to get an average grade. Another thing I didn't expect was all the studying. Of course, I knew we hear medical students study, but it's actually pretty much you're studying all the time. Pretty much your whole life is just spent looking at a book. And I didn't notice, because I remember my first week there, I think there's a class that bounced or something, and everyone was rushing to the library. I'm like, gosh, everyone goes to the library when class bounces. Like, because I had done university in Kenya and everything was so chill. It wasn't med school, but it was all chill. Like, I had started off here, and when class bounces, you guys have plans to go and stuff. But then you get to med school, everyone is rushing to go and study. So I realized, hey, you study a lot. And over the years I've learned, I think even last year, because I got the chance to be home for the year because of the pandemic, and my family would see how much I study and they were shocked. Because like all the time I was like, I need to study, guys, like I need to study. Of course, half of the time you spent saying you need to study, but still, it's actually true. Like, you're always studying, and they don't understand Like when you tell someone, no, I can't come because I have to study, no one understands that point unless it's another fellow medical student. So yes, there's a lot of studying. So if you actually decide to join medical school, make sure you study, you get ready to study all the time. Unless you're like those super, I don't know, smart people who don't need to study, which I don't think there's anyone like that in medical school. Another point in relation to studying, I thought would only be studying about, you know, when you're in high school, you think, oh, when I get to uni, I'll be studying what I love, so it will be easier and stuff. So in my head, I'd imagined like med school being more like biology, because I really liked biology. And I was like, yeah, probably we'll just learn about the body, or we'll learn about things in relation to the body. I didn't think of anything else not... Okay, I mean, in the long run, it's all in relation to the body. But me, I was thinking in the lines of like anatomy and stuff. Little did I know I'd meet something called pharmacology, which until today is something that we have a love-hate relationship with pharmacology. And things like, and there are other subjects within subjects. Like, it was a lot. I was like, wow. So I was never prepared for that. Because I expected, okay, I'd be done with chemistry, I'd be done with physics. No, first year you're back to all those things. And then there's something called physiology, which is sort of like a mix of physics and, I don't know, biology. Like, it's just, it's a mix. Then there was, what is it called? This one for the microscope. The histology, where you have to look under the microscope and see tiny things and see things. And the professor is there saying, oh, there are this and this and this. I'm just seeing pink squares. What do you mean they're all these things? You know, like it took a while for me to actually understand and grasp the concept and actually realize that medicine is just not about talking to someone. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot of learning and knowledge that you have to acquire to actually just get to that point of having to talk to someone. So I'd say, yeah, do your research, make sure you know the different subjects because they're very different as the years go by. And things get complex as you go to older years. Would I say older years? Yeah, higher years, I guess. But the nice thing that I realized, even if everything matters, you'll study whatever you studied in first year will still matter in fifth year. So if you're starting, make sure, build that foundation because that will help for you. If you build a proper foundation, you'll be able to remember over the years rather than you in fifth year, the prof is referring to something in second year and you can't even remember and you have to go back and study again. So yeah, that was a new thing. But I guess over the years, I've gotten used to it. Medical school is nothing like Grey's Anatomy or like all these other medical series that we watch. Like I expected it to be all nice and everyone is all friendly and you have your, I don't know, your life seems to be all fixed. You have your romantic side, you have your school side. No, you don't even have time for this romantic life stuff. So yeah, it's nothing like Grey's Anatomy. There are some ugly times. There are times you'll be crying. You don't even know you're crying because you're so frustrated with everything. You're like, I can't do this anymore. There are times where it'll be scary. Like for me, the most scary moment I can remember is having to go for an autopsy. That thing scarred me for life until today. I was lucky, first of all, that in my uni, or rather, I think it's an Italian law where it's not like in Kenya where in your first year you have to go. That's the first thing they do. They take you to a cadaver and for you to like get used to it. In Rome, it's not like that. I think we're not even allowed to see cadavers until like our fourth year. I got to see my first cadaver in fourth year and that was quite scary. I remember even like the doctors there thought I was going to collapse because I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like I kept on moving behind. Then sometimes I forget I move. I'm like so amused by the anatomy. Then I remember, oh my gosh, this is a human being. I get scared again, you know. Yeah, so of course there are scary parts. I mean, some people don't feel scared, but for me personally, that was really hard. I don't think I even slept for like 2 weeks straight. Like I had to sleep with the lights on. It took me a while. Medical school is not all glamorous. There are some scary parts. There are some sad parts where you'll feel like you're not doing the best, where you'll feel demotivated, where you feel you can't do this. What you need is a support system. And that's one thing I didn't know. So I think for me, I was really glad to have like my family, which keeps on pushing me, and even the few friends who know how much I've always wanted this. So when I forget and then I feel like I'm going to give up, I can't do this, you know, at least I have people to talk me through it. So I'd advise you get your support system. And even if you can get a support system in school, in medical school, where you have like your group, your study group, and your group of friends that always push each other, that works. Because I think that's one thing I missed. I don't think I really have, I can say I have a specific group of med school students where we push each other and motivate each other. So, but at least I compensated for that with my family and friends. So if you're able to get a support system, it's needed. You will need that support system. Make sure you get it. In the first few years, it's okay to know nothing. Because first of all, I thought medical school would be like from day one we're in the hospital. No, you're not. There's no hospital you see until like in the third year. Your first year, second year, third year, first semester, you're just in class. Uni is class from morning to evening, everything is theoretical, you're just reading. But then now when you get to fourth year where you actually start going to the hospital and stuff, it becomes interesting. And yeah, what you started learning now becomes more like you understand it more. So yes, the first few years, there's no hospital you'll be going to most of the times. Maybe if you're able, you're lucky to get a chance, and yeah, you'll go to it. So I'd also urge to the family members and the friends who like asking or telling people all their problems, telling all the med students their sick problems. I'm in first year, I don't know what's going on with your head, I don't know what's going on with your neck. Like it's, it's a lot. Like, can you just calm down? At least wait for me to grow, get into the older years where I can, I can identify something. Because yeah, it's one thing I noticed the moment I joined med school, a family gathering is people telling you their sickness. Or a friends gathering, oh, you know, I had this and this. In my head, I'm thinking, I have no idea, just the same as you. Like, I don't know. All I've been learning is anatomy and physiology and, you know, all these things. I've not learned anything in regards to disease. Like, I don't know. So, yeah, please take us slow on that. Yeah, so the first few years, you're going to be in the hospital. But once you start being in the hospital, it's fun, it's interesting, and it makes it all worthwhile. All the first years of studying you had. You really have to know time management. I think, yeah, being in med school taught me time management because you don't have a life, to be honest. Once school starts, you don't. And I always say I'm really thankful that I actually went abroad to study abroad because I feel like if I had to study here, it would have been a struggle because here, you know, I have family, I have friends, there's so much distraction. But in Rome, it's not as much because my life is pretty much home, from home, I go to class, from class, if we have rounds, I go to rounds, from rounds, library, from library, home, and it's pretty much the same every day. So you don't have a life, your life pretty much comes to a stop, or your life pretty much revolves around your books and the hospital, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think that's, yeah, you learn how to have time management because along all that, you know, you still have to live, you still have to cook for yourself, you still have to do, I don't know, laundry, you still have to, check up on your friends and make sure they're okay and your family. So I think along that, you also learn time management. And even me, if you're like me who wants to do extra things on the side, you still have to figure out how to divide that time so that you're not eating into your school life or your school time. And yeah, it was a challenge, but it's something you can do it. If I could do it, you can do it. What I'd say, if you're thinking of going to med school, I encourage you to do it. It's possible. I know people really make it seem glamorous and make it seem like it's such a nice thing, but to be honest, it's challenging. You have to be strong. You have to set your mind at it and decide, okay, I'm doing this and I'm not going to give up. Because there are times you will honestly feel like you can't do this anymore. There are times you will have self-doubt. There are times you will think it's impossible. Like, you'll question why you signed up for it, but all in the long run, it'll be worth it. This is your dream, make sure go for it. Always remember why you started in the first place. That always reminds you. Remember what made you want to get into medical school. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve at the end of it all? And what difference do you want to make in someone's life? And I think that will keep you going. Yeah, so that's it. I'd say if you want to join, do it. If you're still in the struggle and you're still going, don't give up. You can do this. one step at a time. That's all that matters. This is my favorite quote. What does it say? It's all about progress, not perfection. I was even listening to another podcast today morning, and they were saying, you want to move a mountain tomorrow, you have to begin by picking up the pebbles today. So yes, it's one step at a time, slowly by slowly. Even if you feel stuck on some days, but you'll get through it. I promise you, you will. I've been there. I've done so many. There have been so many moments I was like, I'm going to quit, I'm going to pack and go back home. But I didn't. I stuck through it. And now I'm in 5th year. I didn't think I'd ever reach here, but I've reached. And that means you can also reach, and we'll all graduate and be happy at the end. So make sure to stick through it, be strong, you can do this, and have a lovely week. Bye!